So Gregor Townsend and Rassie Erasmus are having a game of poker, keeping their cards very close to their chest. And as a result, we will not have teams for Scotland or South Africa until tomorrow, which has robbed us of a little bit of build-up chat, hasn't it? So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a video anyway. I'll pick. If they won't pick the teams, I'll pick the teams, and I'll go through the process of picking a combined 23-man squad just to give us something to talk about, because I'm really excited about this match, which will finish the weekend of rugby. A massive weekend, by the way. So many great games. And yeah, I just want to talk about this one. Also, part of this is the fact that I will be on my way to Amsterdam probably when the teams actually get announced. So I'll do a video as soon as I can, but it might not be when teams are announced. So I thought, let's start the conversation early. Why not? By the way, if you have any recommendations of where in Amsterdam would be good to watch a game of rugby, please let me know. Because, yeah, I'm looking forward to going. I was meant to be going to watch the Netherlands against Zimbabwe, but that game is now not happening. But anyway, me and some friends are going there, so should be a good weekend. And I'll be covering the rugby on the channel from there, maybe letting you see a little bit of what's going on at the weekend. So hit subscribe on the channel, give the video a thumbs up to help me spread the word to other rugby fans, and leave your comment down below. So let me start with the teams then. This is what I predict. And in some cases where the choices are 50-50, my choice about who I would select in certain positions, starting with the world champion Box, who are heavy favourites to win this game. I expect them to win, but I think Scotland are a potential banana skin if the Box don't turn up. If they have a performance that's just not quite on the money, but I think they're going to go full bore, have their big guns there in preparation. Well, firstly to beat Scotland and show them all the respect that they deserve, but then to take that juggernaut onto Twickenham next week. There's a couple of positions I'm not totally sure about. Tight head prop is one, obviously with no Frans Malherbe. Personally, I would go for Thomas du Toit, but that may not be the case. Vincent Koch could get the start. Wilco Low is also in the squad. Who would you go for? Let me know. I would go with Thomas du Toit. I think the guy is absolutely class. Second row, obviously we've had the news today that Ruan Nokia is not available. Franco Moster back in the squad. I guess the one question is, will Rassie go for RG Snyman to start at any point? He seems to use Snyman off the bench and he does that role fantastically well. I'm expecting that to continue. I love the thought of Etzebeth and Snyman just going and just obliterating people to start a game. That would be something else. But even without Nokia, 3 outstanding locks, double World Cup winning locks to choose from. So take your pick. Sia Khaleesi, captain on the flank with Peter Steph du Toit, and I expect Jasper Wiese to get the start. Cameron Hanekom in the squad. I would love to see them go for that, but I think they'll go with the tried and tested quantity and Jasper Wiese. There's also the chance, of course, Elric Lowe could get a start in the back row. He's been brilliant. I've got him on the bench in a 6-2 split. And when you look at the forwards, Marks, Steenekamp, Koch, Snyman, Quacker Smith and Elric Lowe, it does not get better than that for 6 international forwards coming off the bench, which is why South Africa do so well to, even when they're not playing well, still come away with a win. And you think back to that World Cup opening match in Marseille between Scotland and South Africa. Scotland stuck with South Africa for a bit, but they couldn't live with the heat that South Africa bring over 80 minutes. And those 6 guys off the bench, if that's how the selection goes, that's pretty hard to match. As for the backs, it feels like the balance of power, and this is a tight head prop, 9 and 10 and 15 are the ones where you're not totally sure what the selection is going to be. Those are the 4 most hotly contested jerseys at the minute. It feels like the momentum is gathering for Jaden Hendricks to become the first choice scrum half. I've got him there for the game this weekend. Maybe the selection will go a different way. We'll wait and see. Rassie's full of surprises, and he may well surprise us. This is just how I expect it to go. And on the position of 10, you've got, with no Sasha FM, my favourite radio station, of course, you've got Hondre Pollard and you've got Marnie Libbok. Libbok, who was so good in that World Cup opener in Marseille, no-look kick pass and all of that. I don't know, I just feel like a game at Murrayfield is tailor-made for Hondre Pollard. I love the chap. I could equally see those two being flipped around, and there is no bad choice there. It's just what I've gone for. That would be, and maybe I'm being a bit conservative or boring with that choice, but that would be my pick. I think Pollard is class. The scrum cap wearing Power Rangers on the wings, the tried and tested centre partnership in the middle, and Apalele Fassi getting the nod ahead of Villy LaRue. That's my call. That's the thought. We'll wait and see what the actual team is tomorrow. Tell me if you would go differently to that. As for Scotland, no Darcy Graham is a big shame, but Kyle Rowe's been playing well for Glasgow and for Scotland, so he will slot in with Blair Kinghorn coming straight back into the team, the most Scottish-sounding man and an absolutely class player as well. And him and Finn Russell just sprinkling the stardust on what is already a really, really good backline. The big question for Scotland, can they get parity up front? Can they meet the physical challenge of the box? I think they're capable of doing it, but again, my worry for Scotland is that they can't do that for 80 minutes, and at some point, the dam is going to burst. And I think in the second half particularly, you could see a couple of maul tries, probably Malcolm Marks on the end of it again, and then a couple of tries when they shred out wide as well. So I could see Scotland keeping it close, and then the box just pulling away in the last quarter of the game. That said, the pack is very good. Still can't understand why Johnny Matthews isn't in the squad. That will always be a head scratcher, but fine. Other than that, the pack picks itself, and that back row is outstanding for Glasgow and for Scotland. If that's the way it goes, that's really good. And that's one of the things I like about this Scottish team, which I mentioned on a video the other day. They've got so much cohesion, so many combinations that have so much time together, and a lot of Glasgow players, which again just adds another layer of cohesion. We've seen that with Ireland, with loads of Leinster players, and I think we're seeing that with Scotland, with Glasgow, and the benefits that that can bring. Is it enough? I don't think it will be. By the way, I would pick Horn to start. I think it will be Ben White starting. I don't know who's going to be the 23rd shirt with no Darcy Graham. Aaron Reid, does he go on the bench, or do you just go maybe a 6-2 split? I think that could actually happen. We'll see. We're going to find out very soon. This is just a guess at what the team would be. And on the basis of this team that I've had a guess at, how would a combined 23-man squad come together? Well, for me, it looks like this. And unsurprisingly, a lot of South Africans in a combined team. Now, again, this isn't a criticism of Scotland, because as I've said, they actually punch above their weight, certainly in lots of ways, bearing in mind the number of professional players they've got and professional teams, the population of the country. They punch above their weight, and a big part of that is the fact they've got a real depth of relationship. Say the centre partnership, for example. I mean, Sione Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones both so close to getting in ahead of Diolende and Creel. So that's a pretty fair matchup. Handré Pollard, I would go with personally, and that's again, if Rassie Erasmus picks Marnie Libok, then I would pick Finn Russell of the two. Both brilliant, but I would go with Finn Russell. So this is only I'll do this again when the team is announced, but it could well be that Finn Russell is at 10. Duan van der Merwe is a brilliant winger. I've just edged for Kurtley Arendse. So the gaps are not big between all of these players. But the one thing, again, I come back to, again, Xander Fagerson, as good as I think Thomas du Toit is, Xander Fagerson has been so good. And he needs to have a massive performance for Scotland if they're going to have any chance. And I've gone back to as it's in Scotland, I've gone to the northern, or basically everything other than South Africa, certainly the Scottish numbering system on the flanks, and I've gone Pieter-Steph du Toit, blindside flanker, which in Scotland would be a number 6, and I've gone Rory Darge over Siya Kolisi. That was a 50-50 call as well. Siya is so good, obviously. Rory Darge is legit. Now I've actually put it down there and put it up on this video, I'm starting to think, what am I doing? I should be picking Siya Kolisi. I don't know, there's something about Rory Darge. I just feel he's going to have a big game in this one. But we'll see. And Jack Dempsey is not far off Jasper Wiese. So I guess my point here is I've picked 20 South Africans. Maybe I could have changed my mind and picked 21 or 22. Or arguably Apalele Fassi 23. I could have picked all South Africans. But the Scottish players are not that far behind. The one thing I do think South Africa have a massive edge on Scotland, and it could potentially be game defining, is the players they're able to bring off the bench. The bomb squad, I think, is going to detonate at Murrayfield, and I think could be the reason why South Africa end up winning by 16 points. Something like 36 points to 20. There you go, 36-20 my prediction. And that's before I've seen the teams. I may change my mind when I actually see the teams play. I'm expecting South Africa to go with a full choice, full strength team. If they don't, that might change. As I say, I'll be travelling to Amsterdam tomorrow. So as soon as I'm there, I'll find a place and a way to do a video. But there'll be loads of rugby coverage coming over the next few days, even from the Netherlands. So make sure you hit subscribe on the channel, give the video a thumbs up. I'll see you on the next one.